Have you ever noticed that the moment a woman seems most interested in you is also the exact time she starts pulling away? She won't admit it, but when her feelings grow the strongest, she suddenly becomes distant, cold, or even pushes you out of her life. That's exactly what we're going to break down in today's video, why women do this, and what it actually means for you as a man. Welcome to the channel, where we cut through the confusion and teach men the real dynamics of attraction and relationships. Today's topic is going to challenge the way you've been taught to think about women, because the truth is, a woman's behavior often runs completely opposite to her words and her emotions. Here's where it gets controversial. When she pushes you away, it's not always because she's lost interest. In fact, many times it's because she wants you the most. The distance, the coldness, the mixed signals, they're not random. They're tests, they're defenses, they're fear disguised as rejection. And if you don't understand this, you'll react the wrong way. You'll chase, you'll argue, or you'll overcompensate. And that's exactly what destroys your power in the situation. But when you do understand it, you'll see her actions for what they really are. Signs of vulnerability, not strength. So in this video, I'll take you through the psychology behind this behavior, how to recognize it when it's happening, and most importantly, how to respond like a man who understands the game, instead of one who gets played by it. 1. Fear of losing control. When a woman starts to feel deeply attracted to you, she isn't just enjoying the connection, she's also fighting an inner battle that most men never see. Attraction for her means risk. It means the possibility of losing control over her emotions, her choices, and even her sense of independence, and that terrifies her more than she'll ever admit. Here's what you have to understand. Many women pride themselves on being in control of their lives. They've been told never to depend on a man, never to let themselves be vulnerable, and to always stay one step ahead. So, when she finds herself actually craving your presence, when her emotions are pulling her toward you, she feels that grip on control slipping. And instead of leaning in, she resists. She distances herself. She pushes you away. For men, this often feels confusing and even insulting. You're thinking, wait a second. Wasn't she just smiling at me, laughing at everything I said, showing me she's interested? And now, suddenly, she's colder than ice? The reason is that her attraction to you is forcing her to confront feelings she can't manage. She doesn't want to admit she needs you. She doesn't want to admit she's emotionally invested. So she creates distance as a way to protect herself. Think of it like this. The more she feels she could lose herself in you, the more she panics and tries to prove to herself that she's still in control. This is why women sometimes act like they don't care, right when they care the most. It's not rejection. It's fear. Fear that she's losing her independence. Fear that she's losing her emotional safety. And fear that you now have the power to hurt her. Now here's where most men mess up. They take this pushback personally. They start chasing harder, trying to reassure her, or demanding to know why she's acting distant. But that only makes her retreat further, because it confirms her fear that her emotions are too exposed. The better move is to recognize that her pulling away is actually proof of her deeper interest. She wouldn't feel the need to create distance if she wasn't already emotionally invested. The key is not to panic when she pulls back. Instead, you hold your ground. You keep living your life, showing her that her fear of losing control doesn't scare you. That's what makes her respect you more, because you're not scrambling for her validation. You're calm, steady, and unmoved. And that stability is what eventually makes her trust the connection enough to lean back in. So when she pushes you away at the height of her attraction, don't view it as rejection. View it as her way of wrestling with the fear of losing control. And if you know how to respond like a man, calm, confident, and unshaken, she'll come back stronger than before. 2. Testing your strength. When a woman starts pushing you away, one of the most common reasons isn't that she's lost interest. It's that she's testing you. And before you roll your eyes, understand this. Women don't test men for fun. They do it because deep down, they want to know if you're really as strong, grounded, and confident as you appeared to be in the beginning. Attraction always begins with perception. She's drawn to how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you move through the world. But once those feelings take root, she doesn't want to be fooled by surface level charm. She wants to know whether your strength is real or just an act. And the only way she can find out is by applying pressure. That pressure comes in the form of distance, cold behavior, mood swings, or even outright rejection. Here's the key. She's not consciously sitting there thinking, "Let me test this guy today." It's more instinctual. A woman's emotions operate like a radar scanning for weakness. If you crumble the moment she pulls away, if you beg for reassurance, or if you lash out because her behavior confuses you, she instantly sees you as a man who can't handle pressure. And the moment she senses weakness, the attraction begins to fade. Think of it like this. When life gets tough, when real problems hit, she wants to know you won't fold. She's not interested in a man who looks strong only when everything is easy. She wants to feel that when storms come, you can keep your feet planted. So when she tests you, she's not trying to ruin things. She's trying to reveal whether you're truly dependable. Most men fail this test because they don't even recognize it's happening. They mistake it for rejection. They think, she must not want me anymore, so I need to work harder to convince her. That reaction kills attraction faster than anything. Chasing harder shows you're seeking her approval, not standing in your own power. The right response is the opposite. You don't chase. You don't argue. You don't even need to explain yourself. You remain calm and consistent. You show that your sense of self doesn't crumble just because she's unpredictable. And ironically, when she sees you can handle the pushback, her respect for you grows. That respect reignites the attraction she was trying to protect in the first place. Think of every test as her way of asking, "Are you the man I think you are? Or are you just pretending?" If you understand that question, you'll stop feeling threatened by her behavior and start seeing it as an opportunity to prove your steadiness. So when she pulls away to test you, don't see it as a problem. See it as your chance to show that your strength isn't just a front. Because once she knows you can handle her tests, she won't just want you, she'll trust you. And that trust is what makes her attraction last. 3. Fear of vulnerability. One of the biggest reasons a woman will push you away when she actually wants you the most is because being close to you forces her to confront vulnerability. And vulnerability, for many women, feels like stepping into dangerous territory. It's not that she doesn't want to be open with you. It's that the very idea of opening up makes her feel exposed in ways she's not comfortable with. Think about it. Vulnerability means admitting that she cares, that your actions affect her, and that you have the power to impact her emotions. That's a heavy realization for someone who's spent years building walls, protecting herself, or learning to rely only on herself. So when she starts catching stronger feelings, her instinct isn't always to lean in. Instead, she often pulls back, because keeping you at a distance feels safer than letting you see the side of her she normally hides from the world. Men often misinterpret this. You think her pulling away means she's not serious about you, when in reality the opposite might be true. The fact that she's creating distance often means you've reached a part of her heart that not many men get close to. And that scares her. It's easier for her to laugh with you, flirt with you, and play it cool. But the moment she realizes she could actually be hurt, her protective instincts kick in. Here's where you need to pay attention. If you push her to be vulnerable before she's ready, she'll resist even more. If you take her withdrawal personally, you'll confirm her fear that opening up is dangerous. But if you respond with patience and steadiness, she starts to feel that maybe being vulnerable around you isn't as risky as she thought. Vulnerability is like a locked door. A woman doesn't hand out the key just because she likes you. She hands it out when she feels safe. When she sees that you won't use her openness against her, and when she trusts that her emotions are secure in your presence. That's why the strongest men aren't the ones who demand vulnerability, but the ones who quietly earn it. Think of it this way. Every time she pushes you away, she's really asking, "Can I trust you with the parts of me I don't show anyone else?" If you can answer that with consistency, with calmness, and with the strength to not react emotionally every time she creates space, she'll eventually feel safe enough to stop running. The truth is, Her fear of vulnerability isn't a sign she doesn't want you. It's a sign you've already touched her deeply. Your role as a man isn't to force her guard down, but to show her that she doesn't need it with you. When you master that, you don't just win her attraction, you win her trust. And trust is the foundation of real power in a relationship. 4. The power of uncertainty. One of the strangest things men notice about women is how they seem to act differently once a relationship feels secure. At first, she's all in, giving you her attention, showing you affection, and making her interest clear. But as soon as things start feeling stable, she might suddenly become distant, cold, or start questioning the relationship altogether. Why? Because women are wired to respond to uncertainty. And when that uncertainty disappears, so does part of the intensity. Take Jason, for example. He was dating a woman who, in the beginning, couldn't get enough of him. She texted first, planned dates, and always wanted to be around him. But the moment Jason became more predictable, answering every text right away, dropping everything to see her, constantly reassuring her, she began to pull away. He thought he was being a good boyfriend by showing her consistency. But what he didn't realize was that he had removed all sense of uncertainty from the dynamic. Now, don't confuse this with playing childish games. It's not about being manipulative or purposely creating drama. It's about understanding human psychology. Women are drawn to men who keep a sense of mystery, who maintain their individuality, and who don't hand over all of their availability on a silver platter. Uncertainty, in this sense, isn't about making her anxious. It's about showing her that you are your own man with your own life, and she has to continually invest in you to keep that connection alive. When a woman pushes you away, part of it is her way of reintroducing uncertainty into the relationship. She wants to feel the thrill of not knowing exactly how you'll respond. She wants to test whether your attention is guaranteed, no matter what she does, or if she still has to earn it. This tug of war between closeness and distance keeps her emotions alive, because emotions thrive in tension, not in comfort zones. Jason made the mistake of thinking that constant reassurance would bring his girlfriend closer. Instead, it smothered the excitement. The men who understand this dynamic don't panic when she creates distance. They don't rush to fill the silence with words or overcompensate with effort. They give her the space she's creating, all while continuing to live fully in their own world. And ironically, that's what makes her come running back. Because she realizes she doesn't fully have you and she craves that uncertainty again. Here's the lesson: a woman doesn't consciously want to be uncertain, but she feels more alive when she is. So when she pushes you away, it's often her way of keeping that spark alive. If you meet her uncertainty with calm strength instead of fear, you'll flip the dynamic. She'll stop pulling away because she realizes that even when she tries, she can't escape the pull of your presence. 5. Craving emotional safety. When a woman pushes you away at the peak of her desire for you, a big part of it comes down to emotional safety. She doesn't just want your presence. She wants to know that if she lets her guard down, you won't use her emotions against her. And here's the reality most men miss. How you respond when she pulls back determines whether she feels secure enough to come closer or if she decides to retreat for good. Let's start with the wrongs. When a woman becomes distant, many men panic. They start asking endless questions. What's wrong? Did I do something? Are you mad at me? Others go into problem-solving mode, lecturing her with lines like, you shouldn't feel that way, or you're overreacting. And the worst mistake? Begging for reassurance with desperate phrases like, do you still love me? Or don't leave me, I need you. All of these responses communicate the opposite of safety. Instead of showing her you're solid and grounded, they show her you're insecure, unstable, and dependent on her approval. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who makes her feel like she has to manage his emotions on top of her own. Now, the right approach is very different. Instead of reacting with panic, you remain calm. You give her space without making it a dramatic event. And when you do speak, you choose words that reassure her without begging for reassurance yourself. For example, if she's pulling away, a strong but gentle response might be, "I understand you need space right now. I'm here when you're ready to talk." That simple line communicates confidence, patience, and emotional steadiness. Another right move is to validate her feelings without losing your frame. If she seems conflicted, you don't try to convince her otherwise. You might say, "I get that you're feeling a lot right now, and that's okay." Notice the difference. Instead of trying to fix her emotions, you're acknowledging them while staying calm. That's what makes her feel safe. And finally, you don't stop living your own life just because she's pulled back. Men who handle this correctly continue focusing on their work, their fitness, their friends, and their goals. This shows her that her emotional swings won't throw you off balance. That stability is exactly what makes her trust you more. Here's the bottom line. Women crave emotional safety, but they don't create it by asking. They create it by testing your responses. If you fail the test with panic or desperation, she pulls further away. If you pass the test with strength, calmness, and the right words, she realizes that being close to you doesn't put her in danger. And once she feels safe with you, her pushback fades because she no longer needs to protect herself. 6. When desire feels dangerous. Desire is powerful. It makes people act in ways they normally wouldn't. And for women, that intensity can often feel dangerous, especially when their emotions start to grow deeper than they planned. This is one of the biggest reasons a woman pushes you away when she wants you most. It's not that she doesn't feel the desire, it's that the desire itself scares her. Here's why. Desire makes her lose control. It makes her think about you when she's supposed to be focused on other things. It makes her more vulnerable to being hurt, disappointed, or abandoned. And for a woman who's been told to always protect herself or who has had negative experiences in the past, that kind of emotional intensity feels risky. She wants you. But wanting you so much triggers her survival instinct to protect herself by pulling back. You've probably seen this play out before. Everything is going well. The connection is strong. The chemistry is undeniable. And then, out of nowhere, she becomes distant. You're left confused, wondering if you did something wrong. But the truth is, the wrong wasn't you. It was the level of desire she was feeling. It was overwhelming her. For men, this is a moment of truth. Many guys react the wrong way. They chase harder, try to force her to stay close, or demand to know what changed. That only makes her desire feel more dangerous, because now she's not just wrestling with her feelings, she's also overwhelmed by your pressure. The right way to handle this is with composure. When her desire makes her retreat, you don't panic. You don't try to drag her back into closeness. Instead, you step back just enough to give her space, while still showing that your presence is steady. That balance is what reassures her. She realizes that even though her desire for you feels overwhelming, you're not going to exploit it, smother it, or make her regret it. What makes this dynamic so engaging is that her pulling away isn't rejection. It's proof of just how strong the attraction really is. A woman won't feel the need to retreat if she's only mildly interested. It's only when her emotions run deep that she feels the urge to create distance. So when this happens, instead of feeling insecure, you should feel confident that her desire is very real. The men who succeed in these moments are the ones who trust the process. They don't chase the woman when she pulls back. They let her come to terms with her feelings. And when she does, she comes back with even more intensity, because she realizes she can want you without it destroying her sense of control. So remember this, when her desire feels dangerous, it's not a signal for you to panic. It's a signal for you to stay calm, grounded, and patient. That's when she'll see that being with you doesn't have to feel dangerous. It can feel safe, thrilling, and worth the risk. 7. How men should respond. By now, it should be clear. When a woman pushes you away at the height of her attraction, it isn't always rejection. More often, it's fear, testing, or uncertainty. But the real question is this: how should you, as a man, respond when this happens? Because your response will decide whether the connection deepens or collapses. First, understand this truth. You cannot fight her pushback with force. Chasing her, arguing with her, or trying to convince her to stay close never works. It only proves that her emotions control you, and once she senses that, her respect for you starts to fade. So the first step in responding is simple. Stay calm. Your composure is your greatest weapon. When she pulls back, you don't mirror her panic. You remain steady, as if you already knew this moment was coming. Second, give her the space she's creating without resenting her for it. Too many men take distance as a personal insult, then punish her with anger, coldness, or passive-aggressive behavior. That's weak. A strong man doesn't need to retaliate. He respects that she needs time to process, and he uses that space to focus on his own life. This not only shows maturity, but also reminds her why she was drawn to you in the first place, because you're not a man who crumbles under pressure. Third, when the moment comes to communicate, choose your words wisely. You don't demand answers, you don't whine for reassurance, instead you keep it simple, steady, and strong. A line like, "I'm here when you're ready," carries far more weight than 100 questions about what went wrong. It communicates patience without desperation, confidence without arrogance. Most importantly, never stop being the man you were before she pulled away. Many guys make the mistake of shifting their entire identity around a woman's reactions. If she's close, they're happy and confident. If she's distant, they collapse into insecurity. That roller coaster proves she's in control, not you. The right way is to remain consistent regardless of her behavior. Your purpose, your goals, your discipline. Those should never change because of her emotional swings. And here's the part that makes it all come together. When she sees that her pushback doesn't destabilize you, her trust in you grows. She realizes you're not just another man who caves under pressure. You're solid. You're grounded. And that steadiness makes her feel safe enough to lean back in. So how should you respond? Not with panic, not with anger, and not with desperation. You respond by holding your frame, living your life, and showing her that no matter how hard she pushes, she cannot shake your foundation. That's what makes her attraction last. That's what makes her respect deepen. And that's what separates men who get played from men who set the rules. At the end of the day, when a woman pushes you away, it's rarely about rejection. More often, it's her fear, her tests, or her struggle with vulnerability and desire. Your job isn't to panic or chase, it's to stand firm. When you hold your ground, when you remain calm, and when you refuse to be shaken by her pullbacks, you prove yourself as the kind of man she can trust and respect. Attraction may spark her interest, but it's your strength and composure that make it last.